Last episode, we covered how you kind of do UI structure and the layout. So we have our layout. So today, we're going to do our first usage of templates, where we see on the screen there's these buttons. We're going to create a reusable button template and create our list. We're going to add the message of the day, and then we're going to add our icon in the bottom right. So what I've done is just in the repo, in the releases section, if you want, I have like menu fonts here, which includes the fonts we're going to use from Google Fonts, the license and everything's in there, and the art assets, which is kind of like a fictional logo, two gradient SVGs, and the background video we're going to use. So if we go into Unity now, here is our screen from the last day, and that looks fine. And we have our containers set up, so we don't need to worry about this anymore. What we're going to do is in UI Toolkit, this folder, we're going to create a new folder, and it'll be called templates. And inside of this template folder, we're going to create a new UI Toolkit UI document and call this menu button and open it up. And this is going to be our menu button. So what we want to do now first is we've still not done the styles, but we'll add our two style classes, which are in styles, which is core and main menu. Have those two there. We'll actually use them first now. And then inside of our menu button, what you can do is just drag in a basic Unity button. And all we're going to do is modify this to turn it from this generic looking thing to our button here. So if we analyze what the button looks like in the menu, you'll see this is it hovered and this is empty. So what it is you have a gradient for the background, which we're going to utilize, that fades out to the right. You have the font in all caps, and if we zoom in real close, look at those pixels, the font has a shadow effect kind of offset to the right. And then when we hover, what you have is the font turns amber, the background turns a brighter gray, and you'll see at the top border has this subtle bar effect pop up. So that's what we'll do here. And thankfully in UI Toolkit, this is very nice. So what we want to do is our button, we want to go to main menu. And how do we want to do this again? Oh yeah, here it is. So right click main menu USS, set as active USS. And in the style class in the UI builder, we'll make a class called menu button and press enter. And once that is entered, you double click it and it will add it up here. And then here is where we can modify the properties. So how you do background images in Unity is we're going to change this from texture in background to vector. And here, our linear fade out should appear. We want to select our fade out option. We want to set our background color to 0. And we want to modify the image tint. So the image tint is the actual coloring. So then here, on our tint, you'll see it's not fully, if we go back to our image, it's not fully dark, it's transparent. So what we'll do is set it to black and change the opacity to about 50%. Let's just say 115. That's fine. And then some more things we want to change. We want to kind of get rid of the default styling in the default Unity button. So we are going to set margin to 0. We're going to set padding to 0. And we're going to give it a set size. So the sizing percent kind of works. Let's just say for now 10%, and or I think it might be best to do pixels. We'll do pixels for now in buttons. So we'll just say our button will be like 50 wide. We'll come back and modify this. This is just for demonstration. and the width can actually be auto. Width is fine. But this is just so when we put it into the menu, we can have different buttons. And then our text inside the button, we're going to use Arsenal Bold. And this is the closest free use font I could find to match the World at War style. And we're just going to make this a very bright gray. Although I think, yeah. And what we also want to do is in our button, just as a default, let's look at the text, it's solo. So we'll change the text to solo in caps, go back to menu button. Then down here, we'll make the text a bit bigger, kind of match it there. And we want to line it up to the right. So I believe to do that, we want to go into our button and we want to say one of these. No. Our text. There we go. And now it's kind of justified to the left. And I want to see, will padding. Okay, and then padding, we'll put it in. So then in our padding, just because you'll notice in the hover, you see it, this is like the start, and there's like a subtle tiny margin here before the first letter. So we'll go back into Builder. We'll just change this 2%, seems fine actually. And we then want to add our shadow, which is here. We want to really zoom in for this. So shadow, set the color to black. And I believe it is offset here, so yeah. So then just set the offset to, I believe, 2 by 2 pixels is fine. Or horizontal, actually. Yeah, we'll just do 2 by 2 for now. And blur radius. Okay, that doesn't do anything. And then that should be grand to get our button. And then something else you'll see is the text is actually slightly squashed. But I don't know if you can do that in UI Toolkit. Yeah, you can't do that really. So there we have our font kind of justified to the left with some spacing. Then what you want to do is now we'll make it invisible, but we want a little border up top. So we'll just say 2 pixels and we'll set the color to white just so you can see it. Why? Oh, there's default. Hold up. Set that to 0 first, then set this to 2 pixels. And now we have our white here, but you'll see on default, there is no border. It only shows when it's hovered. So we're going to make this fully transparent on the base class. And that should be our full button done. So this is our reusable template. We'll just name this button just for later. And then in our menu button, you'll see it kind of works here, but there's no real hover effect. So what you want to do is duplicate this class, but change the name to, I think, semicolon hover. And now this defines our hover styling. So when it's hovered, we'll have the gray subtle border, reduce transparency a bit. Let's just try that. Our image tint, it's kind of like a gray color. We'll drop that there. And then our text color goes to an amber like this. And we'll just see if that works. And there you go. We have our little transition. So when we hover, it turns yellow. It doesn't look quite right at the moment. I think, let's just compare that. Yeah, it's too bright right now. So we'll drop the transparency a bit. I think that's more like it. And then the image tint is too bright. Yeah, okay, that's better. So there we go. That's our button with the hover effect done. So we'll save that, Control S, and we're going to exit out of our button. And then we're going to create another template, which will come in handy. And this will just be very simple. UI Toolkit, and we'll just call this divider. And all this is going to be is a bit of empty space. So just add in a visual element, call it divider. And we're just going to set its height to, let's just say 10 pixels. Or we could adjust that in the end. But yeah, we'll just say 10 pixels. We'll actually add the UI Toolkit styles main menu, and we'll just extract to inline. We'll just say divider, extract inlines, and there we go. So this will come in handy later on when we're creating the menu, which we'll do now. So now we have our two templates, which we are going to add into the menu. So go back to views, go out to our layout, and go to our main container, left container, and menu list. And what we're going to do is, you see here in the library, click on project, go to assets, UI Toolkit, templates, and you'll see now there's our divider and the menu button. So how the spacing works is, you'll see there's a gap here. So we'll go divider, button, 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 divider, button, button, divider, button. So we're going to do that right now. We'll drag in button, divider should be first. So there's a divider, 3 buttons. There is a divider, 2 more buttons. If we get it right. Divider goes here. And then 1 more divider. And then our last button. So you'll see there, now that because we use templates, we were able to quickly put together the list in under a minute. So now what we just want to do is tweak the styling a bit. So we're going to go into our align items, and I believe it is space evenly. Yeah, perfect. So now you'll see we have our gap, 2 buttons, or how should it be? No, 3 buttons. So our divider is the head one. So we have our gap, 3 buttons, tiny gap, 2 buttons, gap, button. And now what we're going to do is just name these. So we'll just give them the proper names. Solo button, then co-op button, multi button. What was next? Oh no, zombies, sorry. Zombies button. That's the divider. Wait, no. Oh, I'm stupid. Hold up. That should have a name. This is solo button. Go up button. Very boring, but sorry. Then we go with zombies. Then we have our divider. Inside a zombies, you have multiplayer. And naming your instances, you'll see why we do this later, but to fetch it in code, you have to fetch it by string. So that's why everything needs its specific string, so that when you're in C#, getting the elements, you'll search like find options button, and it will return you this. And that's when you can like show or hide it, or bind click events. And then the last one is credits button. So then to modify, I have no idea why saving that just broke the dividers. Just a bit buggy. UI Toolkit, it's very work in progress, but that just messed up my whole ordering. Oh no. Fun times. Co-op is there. All right. So then so they all say solo by default. So what you can do is just go inside, click on here, and go to attributes, and that's where you can change the text. So I believe it's cooperative campaign, Nazi zombies. And what this is doing is we're overwriting the what's it called, the template values. So solo is its default, and when we click in here and we change it manually, that overrides it to be whatever we want. And you'll see that in the UXML code options. And then we want to do credits. There we go. All right, perfect. So now we have our menus bodies done. Let's just click preview. And there we go. They all hover, they show the effect. We can add a very subtle transition later, but this is fine for now. So now we've got this done. What we can do next is add labels to our header. So we'll do the main menu and the signed in labels. So first, I want to just fix this color a bit. I believe it's around 30, 30, 30. Something like this. That's fine for now. And then just main menu in caps. So we want to go to standard and just drag in a label. So this is why it's important to set up containers, because now we've got it all set up. This is very easy to do. And we'll just call this menu title LBL, menu title label. And we'll do inline styling for now. 0. We'll dedicate an episode later to properly filling that out. But this label will be modifiable later on in the series, because I'll quickly show you. So as you change screen, you can see it's transition. So when you click on solo, it changes to solo campaign. When you click on co-op, it changes to cooperative campaign. So that will be more important down the line. Then for username, we won't do actual server fetching, but the username will also set how you can change that in code. So that's set on sign in when you start it up. So we want to make our text color, I will make just the gray. We also want to give it the shadow 2 by 2, go black. And it's set to Arsenal bold, and we'll increase the size to 45. We'll remove the padding and the margin. That's perfect. And we'll kind of just set our title container to justify the content middle. Yeah, perfect. And there we go. That is our main menu done. And just because, oh, I forgot about that. We'll fix this later in tweaking, but you'll see the main menu. The way we did our little inline with solo, it doesn't quite line up right. But that's a subtle design thing. We'll just do a hard fix at the moment. What is that, just like 5 pixels? 10 pixels? Okay, that's fine. Just 10 pixels inline. And now it kind of lines up more. And now we have our main menu done. You want to do the same thing. I'll just copy. What did that just do? Oh, it just did it there. So I'll just copy it for now and drag it into here. And you'll see the sign in is slightly different. So this is where I believe we'll use dummy text for now. But we'll just say signed in Dave. And this one is slightly different because it's kind of aligned to the right. So in our username container, align items, flex end, we want to reduce the size of the text. I can find where that is. So let's say just 25. Oh, we also want to center it, my bad. There we go. Maybe a bit too small. We'll just change it to 30. And now I think, is this where we want to use DM sans? No, it's not. That's for the message today. All right. So then we just want to say signed in, and then we want it to be a more, it's kind of like transparent. as you'll see here. It's kind of like a subtle, and eventually the vignette will kind of cover it too. But there we go. So now we've got our menu buttons. We've got our header with the two labels. I should give this a name, a username, LBL label. Okay, so now we've got the username done. We're just going to do the image in the bottom right. So we'll go into our right container and our logo container here. And what we're going to do is drag in an image file like so, and we'll just call it game logo. And what we'll do is we'll just, for now, just set these to 100%. So we do use the official logo I kind of got. I don't know the legality behind that, but it should be all right. Now we'll see how this looks. Call of Duty World at War. World at War is here. Okay, it's a bit squashed, so we'll reduce the width to like 90%. And that should be better. So there we go. That's just how you do images. Sorry, I kind of went through that fast. So you drag in your image, go down to background. I believe background is where you set it. Or actually, yeah, that's fine. So background, set it there. I just noticed image has its own dedicated thing up here, but here is fine. Background works just as good. So now we've got that done. We have header, username, menu list, image. We want to do our message of the day. And so to actually break down the message of the day, what we have is there's the gradient background. You have this little header thing on top, which will be its own element. You have the message, and then you have the subtext. So let's go here. And what we're going to do is add one visual element for the bar. We'll add then another for the title, and then another for the body. So this will just be called, I'll just say bar. I don't know, doesn't really matter. And we'll give this a background image vector and make it our start and fade out. And you'll see here it kind of fades in and out on the sides. We'll change the color to more of a slighter gray. And we'll change the height to, let's just say 2%. No, that's bad. Okay, yeah, 2% for now. Then here we'll call it MOTD header. And inside of here, we'll drag a label. Here, we'll just set these to 0. Go to Arsenal Bold and set the text to message of the day, capital D. There we go. And we want to make it white with a bit of a shadow. It's fine. And we'll make it, how big is it compared to the text? Okay, it's roughly the same size as the button text. So we'll just make that 25. That's fine. And then here we'll have message of the day content. Oh, these are containers, my bad. See, put a CTR. This is important for when you're kind of just querying it. Then here is the actual header. Then content container. Drag inside of that container. The label. Actually just duplicate this for now. MOTD content. And this is same size, but it's got a bit of, it's a bit gray. So that should be okay. See the font. We'll change the fonts up here. Change this from Arsenal DM regular. And these containers have the background we saw. So that is where we will say a background image on this container is a vector, linear fade out, and that is black. Kind of looks like that. There we go. We'll add padding, just 10, so it lines up with the rest. And here is where we want to kind of fix the height. So the size here, we'll make the maximum height 2%. That is fine. Let's see. So height is 2%. Our header, you kind of want to make it, let's say, a max height of, let's just say 20%. And we want to center it. So we'll center the content. No. Which one is it? Yeah, here it is. Space around. So that's our header centered. And now we want to make this actually more transparent. So drop that down. And then our message of the day content. We want to, just for our text, so you'll see here. So then what you see wrap around. So to make it wrap downwards, what we want to do, I believe, is in our text, we want to click wrap. By default, for some reason, it's no wrap. So we just want to make it wrap, and this will make it go downwards. And actually, you'll see the text doesn't reach the whole way. So we'll actually add a little bit of padding on this side. Let's just say 50, no, a bit more. Make that 25. Or, no, that's too much. Sorry. Drop down the padding a bit. And there we go. That is our message of the day box. And that is everything for this first part of the tutorial. So just to kind of look through it, we have our header, username, screen name, icon. We have our buttons sorted, and we have our message of the day sorted. It could do with a bit of tweaking, but let's see, actually. The size, it should be a bit bigger. If I make it 30%. That's too big, 25 in the middle. All right, there we go. But yeah, this is the end of this episode. Next episode, we'll kind of do the first bit of personality for the screen. So what kind of makes World at War stand out is like the whole gradient effect and the video background. So, but yeah, for now, let me know if you have any questions. That'll do it for this episode. I'll see you in the next one.